guys, thanks for tuning in. It's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at something I am very excited about. Originally teased as being part of the Transformers Kingdom line, and then surrounded by rumors of being canceled, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Legacy United Deluxe Class Gears. And for all of my Optibotimus Plus channel members, hashtag We Got Gears. For the package, much like all of the other United figures, we do have this really nice kind of neon-ish looking package with the Transformers text, the Generation logo. Now, one thing that immediately kind of caught me off guard, we do have this open section here. And initially, I thought that his chest had fallen off, because when you come around to the back, you can see that the chest looks like that, but it's not there. So I was freaking out. But one thing that a lot of my followers on Twitter and things like that have mentioned is that the chest is actually in a little baggie inside the box. I guess they did that to prevent people from taking it. I don't know why they would want to steal a chest, but whatever. So I'm glad that it's there, but this just makes it look like it's already missing something, which I was not a big fan of. So again, I cannot wait for that completely sealed package to come out later on. But of course, you got gorgeous art of Gears in his vehicle mode. You got an up-close image of him right there. More pullback image down towards the bottom. The other side of here has a lot of other characters and figures that we are going to be getting eventually as part of the 40 years of Transformers, which is really fun. The back section here shows that he transforms in 12 steps, which it's interesting, because I want to say that this guy, as a core class figure, had more kind of transformation steps than a deluxe figure, but, you know, it is what it is. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have my spirit Autobot, that lovable, grumpy old guy Gears, opened up out of his packaging and obviously in his vehicle mode. And, you know, there's aspects of this guy that I really do like, but then there's definitely aspects that I think that they could have done differently to make him a better figure. Starting off first, he does come with a blaster. You can see you got the handle right there. You also got a little post on the side as well, which allows you to kind of plug it in on the side if you want to, or here at the top, like that. I mean, if you want to do it, you can't really use the actual handle to plug it in anywhere because it's not enough space. I do kind of wish that there was an area that you could kind of plug it in on the bottom just to kind of have it hidden. I don't particularly like, oh, you even got a big thing right here. I don't particularly like how that's the weapon storage for it, but, you know, it's very common, but you have that. But vehicle mode wise, from like this angle, from like that angle, even that angle, which I'll touch on that in a bit, it's perfectly fine. I don't like that angle. That, to me, just looks really lazy. I honestly don't know. I mean, because this section here folds down, I don't know. Honestly, you probably could have just left that off, and I probably would have liked that better. So maybe popping that piece off, because this piece is in a, like I said, a little baggie in the box. Or maybe make this where you could rotate this, because honestly I would have been fine with that. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit ugly, but it looks better than that. That just, I don't even know what that's supposed to be. That's just his chest there. So like if you could, like I said, I mean, you can take that off if you want to. Tab that there, do it like that. I guess. I mean, I'm not particularly impressed with that. Get that? No, that's on there really tight. There we go. So I think that they could have definitely done a better job with the back section, or make, like I said, make that rotate or something like that. Put a little swivel here where you could rotate it around and plug it up like that. I just not an overall big fan of it. Also, these tires I'm not really a big fan of. They look extremely small for this guy. They also, like, kind of tuck it in. It goes full on Back to the Future hover conversion mode. A little bit too easy. They just kind of bend inward, but they're very thin looking, as you can see, and they're very small. I would imagine a big heavy-duty truck like this would have bigger, bulkier sort of tires. I like the silver paint that thing on there, but you got this little mushroom peg thing that's not very good either. But all in all, decent looking. I like the nice silver paint that's on there. You got the Autobot logo. One thing that I love is a lot of times these designers really do a great job of putting in little nods to previous things. Gears was originally released here in North America through, obviously, Hasbro, and they got it from Takara Tomy, and he was a part of their Micro Change sort of toy line. Now, that Micro Change toy line came from another company. I forgot the name of it, but they had an unreleased set of toys that eventually went to Takara Tomy and became the Micro Change ones. And that company, or those toys were called like Mysterions or something like that. One thing that I love is right here on the underside here, and I just rotate this around because I like kind of hiding it, but that's his head. But you got this M that's built in right there. It's actually sculpted in. On the original vintage toy, that was here. Now, it makes sense that it would be kind of on the back of it because the back of that was actually the top section of the vehicle mode on that G1 toy. But that is meant to homage that original Mysterion sort of toy line. And I love the fact that they had that, or maybe even the Micro Change. I guess you could go either way. But it went from Mysterions to Micro Change to Transformers. So the fact that they built in that cool little nod, I absolutely love. I think that's fantastic. There's some other nods that are built into this that really do make them fun, but there's a couple of nitpicks, like I said, like that back section and the tires, I'm not the biggest fan of. Size-wise, I do like how he turned out. Bringing in some other microbots, and honestly, I think that Brawn here is one of those Mysterion ones where it had like the M kind of built in there as well. But I think that this looks great. It is a really good overall size. One thing that is still kind of funny to me is the fact that Bumblebee here is still designed to look like that actual Volkswagen Beetle. Not so much like the cartoon or everything, but really a good size between all of them. And then for a little bit bigger of one, here is Optimus Prime, which is a leader class figure, but mostly it's because he comes with the trailer. But we all know for the most part, Optimus is basically a Voyager size figure. So again, I think that the scaling here looks wonderful. I'm quite happy with how it all turned out. Now, first transformation, it's actually pretty simple, and yeah, it is only a few steps. You're going to want to take this section here, bring this down, and kind of bring that all the way out just like so. And then come around here to these legs. You kind of have to shimmy this a little bit just to kind of get it to separate from the top bit here. It is tricky, but kind of just wiggle and then pull that all the way out. Kind of wiggle and then kind of push this up. Come on. There we go. Just like that. Bring these all the way down, then take these little bits here and tuck these down. You have his legs done. Very, very simple. Come around here, then you want to take these tires, collapse those, and then just kind of angle that a little bit further down. Take this section here. These are his arms. Pull these. Oh, you want to detach this. It doesn't really, there's little tabs here that lock in. It doesn't do a very good job on this side of it, but you can kind of just lift it up, fold that out just like so, and then take this entire back section, fold that back, and then take these tires, collapse that down just like that. Now for me, like I said, I rotate his head just because I kind of like hiding the head in his vehicle mode. I don't really know why, but as I was talking about, this back section here on the vintage toy made up the kind of hood area of the actual vehicle mode. So I do like how they have the M there, like I was kind of talking about. That's kind of cool. Rotate these down, and then take this section, collapse this up, bring that down just like so. And then come around here to the back, and then just accordion this down, and you have little slots on the inside. It's kind of part of the mushroom peg right there, but are going to lock into some tabs here in the back. You just bring that in, collapse that. And there you have Gears in his robot mode. And I really like the robot mode. Again, much like the vehicle mode, there are definitely some aspects that I think could have been done better, but for the most part, this guy turned out really very cool looking. And as much as I love this guy, even in his robot mode, there's aspects of him that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I feel that they could have done better. Overall, he looks fantastic. I really love the overall design of him. You can see he can hold his weapon very well. The part that I'm not the biggest fan of is his big old backpack here. You know, these figures have been doing a great job as of late by the backpacks kind of hiding. I just feel that that's really huge. And I think that the designers could have collapsed it a little bit better. I don't know. I mean, I am not a designer, so I can't really tell you, but I just don't like how big that is, honestly. From the front here, this guy is gorgeous. He nails that character from the animation, and the look is wonderful. The head sculpt is great. Great silver paint on there. Kind of has a grumpy look on him as well, which just fits the character. You got the chest plate that actually looks good in robot mode. It's just like I said, that's so big. Now, one thing that's really very cool, like I kind of showed you with the built-in kind of homage to the Mysterians, in his breakout episode where the Decepticons kind of used him by stealing like a internal chip of his to make like a solar thing work, Megatron opened this up and took his little chip out of here, and you got that sculpted in there as well. And I think that that's really very cool. Again, I think that because they were going to do this, they could have made this swivel so that you can use that to kind of make his vehicle more, like maybe you could have like sculpted like an actual back of a truck right there. But I love the fact that they threw that in there. I mean, that is a great little nod, because Gears really didn't have a lot of kind of standout sort of things. He had that one episode where, like I said, he was kind of the primary focus, but for the most part, he was always a background character. He was always cranky, he was grumpy. That's why I say, like, he's my spirit Autobot. If you were to pick a character from Transformers, who would your spirit Transformer be? Would it be a Decepticon? Would it be an Autobot? Let me know down in the comments. But for a comparison, let's set that guy there. And here's some of the other Autobots, so you can see how he stacks up. Again, Minibot-wise, he is perfect. I think that the size is fantastic. I mean, even though he's a deluxe figure, I love the fact that they're doing it instead of just giving us, you know, these core class figures. They give us these mini figures, which a lot of times that's what they had done in the past. But I think what they're doing now is fantastic. The overall scale and size that they're working with, absolutely fantastic. Could not be happier with it. For his articulation, the head is a little bit limited because you can see how the head is actually shaped. He does have a full range of motion. It's actually a little bit on a ball joint, so you can kind of get a little movement. But when you do rotate, when you collapse the back as tight as you're supposed to, when you rotate it, kind of pushes that away, which isn't bad because you can see that it doesn't push it that far. But it is a little bit kind of annoying with that, but, you know, it is what it is. The shoulders here do have these universal sort of joints, so you can get a nice swivel, hinge in and out. Rotates right at the upper part of the bicep, and kind of part of the transformation, he does have a double elbow joint. He does also have wrist rotation, which is nice to see. Come down to the waist, you can see that he does have that waist rotation. Hips have that same type of universal joint where you can move forward and back. Ooh, tight in and out. And then you do have the swivel right there. Does have basically a double bent at the knee, just kind of as, again, part of the transformation. And then he does have ankle pivot, which is nice, so you can get a wide pose for him, so he can, like, look at me, I'm cool. You're not going to get a lot of crazy dynamic poses out of this particular character, but the figure can do pretty much any of those. So, really cool. And then if you wanted to store his weapon, you can just do it here on the side if you didn't want to have him hold it or something like that. So, very cool. Like I said, he in robot mode here, he doesn't have nearly as many nitpicks, I guess, as the vehicle mode. The biggest thing is just the backpack. I wish it could compress a little bit better, but all in all, it's not terrible. I just think that it could be better, I guess. Now, to transform him back into his robot mode, again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I do like rotating the head, just like I said, kind of hides the face in vehicle mode. And then you go ahead and pull this away, and then you can lift the tires up just like that. Come around here to this chest section, go ahead and take this, fold this all the way down, and then collapse the fists and hands up just like so. You can take these tires, rotate those out, and then you want to collapse the hands down and inside here. Now, one thing that is a little bit tricky, you can see this little slot section right here. Let me come in so you can kind of... That little slot section is going to tab in here. It is a little bit tricky to do. So you got those two little bits, and then you're going to take this and bring this over, and then you got these little posts that are going to lock in here. It doesn't like doing it very well, so kind of get it in there as best as you can, and then just kind of, once you get that positioned, it'll kind of collapse in. This one, though, does not like going in at all, and I constantly fight with it to get it lined up and angled properly, but see, kind of... There, something, no, that's not even lined up right. That's just sitting there. So, and then it doesn't, it's hard to kind of get a hold of it to push it in. And you can see, like, this one is in there nicely. This one, though, does, and then you pull that out, and it pulls that out. So, it's a pain to kind of get that. And like I said, there's not a real good place to grab onto it, so that's good enough. There we go. We'll just leave it like that, and then take this section here, like leave that down like that, fold out to the feet and the back section, and then rotate these up, and they will slot down right there. Do that on this side as well. Slot that down right there. And then take this section, I'll take the bit right there, this is going to collapse up, and then these tabs will line up, lock that in. And again, I wish you could swivel that and collapse it, but you're just going to bring that up, and boom, there you have Gears back in his vehicle mode. And as much as I absolutely love the character, I do gotta be fairly objective with my review and say that I think that the toy could be done better. The tires, I just really am not a big fan of. Those are way too tiny. I get that they needed to kind of make them small so that they could collapse and hide in vehicle or robot mode. I understand that. I just, and maybe make them a little bit bigger. I don't know. But I also really don't like the look of this. I mean, I honestly think that just leaving that off entirely, you know, so even if you couldn't make it where you could rotate that around to kind of go up and hide that, I honestly think that looks better than that on there. I don't know why, but I wish they could have put, like I said, a swivel on there so you could at least maybe keep that collapsed underneath there or something like that. I just don't think it looks good. That doesn't look like the back of a truck, honestly. I think that could kind of look like the back of a truck a little bit better. Like maybe you could paint and mold in some taillights or something there, but not a big fan of that. From this side though and everything, like, looks pretty good. I mean, I like the way that the back section here turned out. The blue color looks good. Everything on there for the most part is really solid looking. Transformation is pretty simple. There isn't really anything overly, I guess, spectacular about it. These little bits here do get annoying when you're trying to tab that in. It just, you kind of have to force it in there. You can see that I got it in there now, but it is definitely a pain in the butt to kind of do. Robot mode, I think, is his best looking mode, but I still don't like that backpack. Now people are going to be like, oh, well, you're not going to display them from the side, and no, you're not, but I do have a lot of figures, and I do kind of compress a lot of them into one area. So somebody standing behind him is going to have to stand a little bit further back because there's a whole backpack there. All in all, he's a great figure. I just think that he could be done a little bit better, especially with some of the crazy, very impressive engineering that Hasbro has been doing lately. But without a doubt, I would still highly recommend picking him up. especially since Gears doesn't really get a lot of love most of the time. But all that being said, if Gears here is a figure that you would like to add to your collection, he is hitting various retail locations right now. So if you are looking for him, good luck and happy hunting. Or as always, you can do the real simple thing and go online to places like Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, or even Entertainment Earth. For all of those places, I'll put links right down there in the video description, where you can swing on by and check out availability on him, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. As always, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in and watching, and until next time, this is Optibotimus saying to please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. And until my next review, adios, au revoir, and Auf Wiedersehen.